Καλησπέρα σας. Good evening everybody. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που είστε μαζί μας απόψε στο 5ο φεστιβάλ επιχειρηματικότητας. Thank you very much to all of you that you're with us tonight on this virtual 5th festival of entrepreneurship. We started that, as the name states, 5 years ago, and the sole purpose of it is to encourage any projects and any Greek or Cypriot in Ireland to show their talents, to show the positive attitude that they have in Ireland, in this beautiful country. Ireland has shown the world what you can do if you believe in your culture and you believe in connections between culture and business, and we have a lot to learn from that. Η Ιρλανδία έχει δείξει σε όλο τον κόσμο πώς μπορείς να αναπτύξεις την επιχειρηματικότητα και μέσα από την κουλτούρα και πιστεύουμε και προσπαθούμε σαν ελληνική κοινότητα Ιρλανδίας να ενθαρρύνουμε τους Έλληνες να μάθουν αυτό το μοναδικό μάθημα από αυτή την όμορφη εδώ χώρα που μας φιλοξενεί. Thank you Ireland, thank you Greeks, thank you Cypriots for coming to Ireland and making the best out of it, making the best out of your ideas, and we are here to help you, to encourage you, and do start your own business in Ireland, do turn your ideas into business in Ireland, is the best country for that. So, culture and business can go together in a very positive way. So, thank you very much, everybody that is helping us in this difficult job. I was trying to find the best way of helping all the Greeks that come to Ireland to showcase their ideas and their business, and it was Petros Konsoulas that said, Stella, why don't you bring all those people together? It was Kyriaki Dzouveleki that she baptized, she gave the name festival. So thank you and to those people, and of course how can you not say thank you to Fondas and Theos Youtos, that without which you wouldn't have had the festival, especially this year. So there is a list of people that have helped us along the way, but this year we have with us Tina Koumarianos, which belongs to one of the oldest families in Ireland. Tina, you are very welcome, and thank you so much for accepting to work so hard to be a host, to be the presenter of this year's festival. Tina has spent a lot of time studying each individual case, each individual entrepreneur, and trying to understand what it's about and why they build that business that they build. So we are so lucky. Tina is a TV presenter. She's my favorite presenter. And I think we're just the luckiest people to have her with us today. So thank you, Tina. We're honored Will you just tell us who you are really, and why what is your connection with Greece, and how come you are in Ireland?
Well, my father was a sea captain, and he was with the Greek Merchant Navy, and he was Commodore on quite a few of the North Atlantic convoys, and he met my mother in England. He fell on the deck of his ship in very bad weather in the North Atlantic on one of the convoys and was taken into hospital in Liverpool, where he met my mother. She took one look at him and he never escaped. And when the war was over in 1948, they moved to Ireland. He had said his preference would be for Greece or for Vancouver, but she said, no, Ireland, it is close to my family and there is no rationing. Well, not rationing like there was in England. So never having been really to Ireland, although her parents were Irish, they moved over here, and so I've been brought up here my whole life, with the result, sadly, I don't speak Greek, although I have a Greek name. That's how we ended up in Ireland. There were 3 families at the time, the Goulandras, the Mussolidis, and the Kumarianoses, and that was it. Really, I think.
And the Floridis.
Yes, Floridis at that time. And it was like that for quite a few years. And now I'm amazed at how many Greeks there are here in Ireland. So I'm delighted to have been invited along this evening. Thank you, Stella. And we'll see what we can make of this. Hopefully it will go very well.
Thank you for actually finding it so interesting to introduce all those people and their businesses to a wider audience today, Tina. As you know, we wouldn't cope without you. So
yes, I think you might.
Thank you. So you can start, and thank you so much again.
My pleasure. Well, we'll start out with a few words from the Greek ambassador, Ekaterini Simopoulou, and then we'll go on to Neville Isidel after that.
Αγαπητοί Πρόεδρε της Ελληνικής Κοινότητας της Ιρλανδίας, αγαπητά μέλη του Προεδρείου, μέλη της κοινότητας, αγαπητοί μου συμπατριώτες και συμπατριώτισσες, αγαπητοί φίλοι της Ελλάδας, αγαπητοί συμμετέχοντες. Dear President of the Hellenic Community of Ireland, dear members of the board, dear members of the community, dear compatriots, dear friends of Greece, dear participants. Όταν πέρσι είχα απευθύνει χαιρετισμό στο 4ο φεστιβάλ, στον υπέροχο χώρο του EPIC που είχε φιλοξενήσει αυτή την ωραία πρωτοβουλία, κανείς δεν μπορούσε να φανταστεί ποιες συνθήκες θα αντιμετωπίζαμε φέτος. When I addressed last year the 4th festival in the wonderful venue of EPIC, nobody could have imagined the situation this year. Εν τούτοις, εν μέσω πανδημίας, που εδώ και 1 χρόνο έχει ακυρώσει κάθε είδους δραστηριότητα, η ελληνική κοινότητα Ιρλανδίας κατάφερε, ξεπερνώντας τις αντιξότητες, να ξαναστήσει την αξιόλογη αυτή εκδήλωση. However, despite the pandemic that has cancelled any kind of activity since last year, the Hellenic Community of Ireland did manage, overcoming the difficulties, to bring again to us this remarkable event. Βεβαίως, αυτό οφείλεται και στη θέληση όλων όσων συμμετέχουν σε αυτήν και τη στηρίζουν να μην λείψει από το καθιερωμένο πλέον ραντεβού μαζί μας. Of course, this is thanks also to the willingness of all of you who are participating and supporting it. Το ενδιαφέρον που πλέον συγκεντρώνει δείχνει ότι ήταν ένα σωστό βήμα προς τη σωστή κατεύθυνση. The interest that has been attracted, it shows that it's been a very right step towards a very right direction. Οι Έλληνες που έχουν εγκατασταθεί στην Ιρλανδία και αναπτύσσουν επιχειρηματική και όχι μόνο δραστηριότητα, βρίσκουν στο φεστιβάλ το χώρο μέσα από τον οποίο μπορούν να αναδείξουν το ταλέντο τους και να πούν είμαστε εδώ και σας προσκαλούμε να συνεργαστείτε μαζί μας. The Greeks who have settled in Ireland and they have their businesses here, they can find in the festival the vehicle through which they can show their skills, they can reach out, and they can say, we are here and we invite you to do business with us. Η πανδημία θα δημιουργήσει μια νέα πραγματικότητα που θα συνοδεύεται από αλλαγές με στόχο μια εξωστρεφή ανταγωνιστική οικονομία στην αιχμή της τεχνολογίας, της κλιματικής αλλαγής και περισσότερες ευκαιρίες απασχόλησης. The pandemic, undoubtedly, it will create a new environment, a new reality, which will be followed by changes aiming at extrovert economy, competitive economy, in the forefront of technology, of the climate change, creating more opportunities of employment. Η χώρα μας προετοιμάζεται για την νέα αυτή πραγματικότητα με εργαλείο την αξιοποίηση του Εθνικού Σχεδίου Ανάπτυξης και Ανθεκτικότητας, αλλά και τις πρωτοβουλίες Rebrain Greece, Ελλάδα ξανά, Brain Regain, που στόχο έχουν τον επανεπατρισμό των Ελλήνων του εξωτερικού μέσω συγκεκριμένων κινήτρων. Our country is getting ready for this new reality by and through the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, but also through initiatives such as Rebrain Greece, Greece Again, Brain Regain, aiming at the repatriation of Greeks of the diaspora. Also, Greece is moving gradually towards a more sustainable growth path, creating ample investment opportunities. Αλλά και στην Ιρλανδία η νέα πραγματικότητα θα γίνει αισθητή από τους επαγγελματίες. Στο νέο αυτό περιβάλλον, οι συμπατριώτες μας θα κληθούν να αναπτύξουν δεξιότητες και επιχειρηματικότητα και θα πρέπει να είναι έτοιμοι να προσαρμοστούν. But also in Ireland, this new reality, this new environment will be felt by the professionals. In this new environment, our compatriots, they will be ready to develop their skills and their entrepreneurship and must be ready to adapt. Ελπίζω του χρόνου να βρεθούμε σε καλύτερες συνθήκες. I hope that next year we meet under better circumstances. Εύχομαι επιτυχία στη φετινή διαδικτυακή διοργάνωση για την οποία εργάστηκαν η Πρόεδρος, το Προεδρείο και τα μέλη της ελληνικής κοινότητας και ευχαριστώ τους Ιρλανδούς φίλους μας που τη στηρίζουν. I hope every success, I wish every success to this year's online event, for the success of which the President of the community, the board, the members of the community have worked relentlessly, and of course I thank all the Irish friends who are supporting this remarkable initiative. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Thank you very much.
That was lovely. Now, last night, Stella and I had the great pleasure of interviewing a lovely man, Neville Isdell, who owns the EPIC Museum, the Irish Immigration Museum here in Dublin. And he worked with Coca-Cola his whole life for 43 years. And we asked him about the Immigration Museum and how he became so involved with Coca-Cola. So now you can listen to his interview from last night.
Dear Neville, thank you very much for accepting our invitation to speak to the Hellenic community of Ireland. And it's a great honor. We are grateful for allowing us to run our festival in this magnificent and unique place in the CHU, which is above the EPIC, the Irish Immigration Museum. I have to say I was in love. I was taken by pleasant surprise the first time I saw the whole building and the museum itself. The minute I finished, from the minute I entered the museum, I started crying. When I exited the museum, I was still crying. It's anybody can identify with this museum. To me, it's the world museum of immigration. Is not just for Irish people. The first question I want to ask you is, how did you have the idea of building a museum of emigration? It's so unique, and any diaspora, I think, can identify with that museum.
Well, let me go back to the building as well, okay? Because I was looking for, an office building. It was when, after the crash, which of course was Greece and Ireland and Cyprus and Portugal, and the government was auctioning off a whole lot of assets from the banks. And I was just looking for a normal office building. And then someone took me for coffee in the Starbucks at CHQ and told me it was for sale. And I fell in love with that same building.
Yes.
And so it wasn't what I was looking for, but I'd never seen anything so beautiful. It'd been renovated by the government, but it's absolutely unique. It's nearly 200 years old. And there was an open bid, and I managed to win the bid. One of the reasons I managed to win the bid was because that ground area, those vaults below, where they used to store the whiskey and the wool and the like for shipment, no one saw any value in that. It was actually full of rubbish. It really was full of rubbish. So there was nearly, what I would say, 35% of the building that no one saw any value in. And I said, no, this is magnificent. These vaults are magnificent. And we were going around with torches, by the way. So out of that, what do you do with it then? Okay, so fine, you think you can do something. Well, I left Ireland when I was 10 years old. You'll hear from my accent that I don't sound Irish anymore. When I go to Ireland, it leaks back in again, all right? But I don't. I was brought up in Africa. And people would ask me about my accent. They would listen to me and they say, where are you from? And they would, they think it's Australian or what have you. And I'd say, no, actually, I'm Irish. And the reaction I'd get is, oh, you're Irish. Oh, that's wonderful. And then they tell me an Irish story.
Yes.
And I realized that there was a uniqueness to that. If I'd said, well, actually, I won't be rude to them, but I'm English or I'm an American or something like that. Oh, really? Yes. Okay. But so there was the specialness of being Irish. Also, my father had headed up the Irish Society in Zambia at one time. And the Irish had a major impact on then Northern Rhodesia, but when it became independent, because a lot of the education happened through mission schools and convents, right? And also the legal profession was Irish, even though practicing English law, but was Irish, and they actually were the ones that represented the likes of the first president, Kenneth Kaunda, when he was arrested, etc. So, and the first Chief Justice, by the way, was an Irishman of Ireland. So out of that, and then as I went on my travels with Coca-Cola, because I've lived and worked in 11 countries on 5 continents, this continued to be reinforced about being Irish was different. And not just different in the normal sense, but there was a specialness about it.
Yes.
And then these are things that grow and build within you. And then when I went to the US, of course, you knew how many presidents came from the US, and obviously the Irish diaspora and the Scots-Irish coming. I also
we're expecting, we're expecting the Biden now soon.
Yes. Yeah. So, we're expecting that. Yeah, we want him to come to EPIC too.
Yes.
And so, there was that. And then, of course, I went and retired in Barbados, where there's a very strong history about the Redlegs, because the first indentured laborers were actually shipped out to work in the sugarcane fields in Barbados. So all these pieces come together. And what I thought was, when you talk about Irish history, it focuses on all the bad things. It focuses on civil war. It focuses on colonialism. It focuses on, the partition of Ireland, the famine. It's all the bad stuff. And yet, that bad stuff meant that the numbers that left the island of Ireland were significant. But these people made their mark around the world. So there was a story to be told which was very positive about what Ireland had achieved, or Irish people had achieved around the world. And when I did some research, I came to the conclusion that the Irish had basically punched above their weight, if you want to put it that way.
Yes.
In a global sense. And I said, well, how do we tell the story? And I'll leave it there. That you can carry on from there. But that was the gestation of it. It was something that built up through my own history. And I thought, gee, this is something no one else has done and that I really want to do.
So it was really trying to make a case of a win-win case out of, because in one of the interviews that I've watched before, you were saying that it has been a lot of misery, it has been a lot of problems, but you have to get over all that and you have to show all the positive income and outcome. Sorry. So I think it's the creativity of this struggle that you saw, isn't it? It's what new, what people, what immigrants created out there, and what created this friendly name for the Irish all over the world. It's
that, but it's also the fact that, and I believe this as an individual, and I try to live this, is that there is absolutely no question that, you know, when you have difficulty, you also have opportunity.
Yes.
And I like to focus on opportunity. In fact, I was in a Zoom call this morning about malaria, and I started talking about the positives of COVID.
Yes.
Now, I know all the negatives. We all know that. But by the way, there are some changes that are positive changes to the world that are going to come from COVID. What are they? How can we exploit them? And exploit them, I mean, in a very positive way.
Thank you, Neville, for that's all I had to ask. I think you've covered me completely. And again, thank you very much for hosting us, for letting the Hellenic Community of Ireland run the festival there. I believe there is nowhere else in the world that we could be more suitable, a more suitable place, not just because it's such a beautiful, extraordinary place, but it's just the diaspora, the Museum of Irish Diaspora. It's amazing. So I think Tina will has a lot of interesting questions for you too. Thank you.
Thanks, Stella. Okay, thanks a lot.
Hello, Neville. How are you?
I'm good, Tina. I've relaxed now.
Good. Yeah, your heart has calmed down from all the rushing. Actually, Stella has asked you a lot of the questions, or you have answered in your answers a lot of the questions I had. But I'm just wondering, with you leaving Downpatrick at the age of 10 and moving to Northern Rhodesia, do you think that's what sort of started the wanderlust in you to travel the world? Did that play any part? I know you went to university in Cape Town, but what made you decide to then spread out? Was it joining Coca-Cola? Was that your first job when you left university? Because I know you were with them 43 years. That's a long time.
Well, it wasn't, but the others was serendipitous that I joined Coke. I had one where I worked for a short period of time until I got the job that I wanted, which is a training job with a retail clothing company in Johannesburg. And then I got an offer to relocate back to then Zambia, not Northern Rhodesia, and started out there. And you know, I never thought I was going to spend my life in one company. That wasn't a goal in and of itself. All right.
Yes.
But I think I've always been interested in geography. I've always been interested in history. I've always been interested in politics. Okay.
Yes.
So to all of that, there's a global dimension. I do remember a geography master that I had before I was 10 years of age. I remember playing around with maps of the world. So somewhere, it's within that. And then, of course, when you're 10, your parents are still explaining things to you. So why wouldn't you want to, understand why they want to see another part of the world? And I remember members of the family, saying, "What are you doing this to Neville? I mean, you're taking him out of stable society. You're going to the middle of Africa. What are you doing that for?" And he says, "Because he's going to enjoy the adventure." That's what my father said. I remember sitting in a corner hearing that. And of course I did. And, we were on the ship for 2 weeks. We stopped at Las Palmas. We stopped actually in Angola, Lobito Bay, stopped at Walvis Bay. Then we arrived in Cape Town with that beautiful mountain. And then 3.5 days by train, 2,000 miles through Africa up to then Northern Rhodesia. And I sat out, the trains were open between the carriages. I would spend hours looking at Africa. And those are the imprints that I have, and it grew from there, basically. So my parents gave me the opportunity. I probably had it been fertilized a little bit earlier, and then it blossomed in terms of actually that trip in particular. And then I started actually with my parents, because we were on a trip to Latin America, discovering the world. And the rest was, in a way, serendipitous. I didn't, you couldn't say to Coca-Cola, "I want to go and live in 11 countries." They decided where they wanted to go. It was a bit like the Foreign Service in those days, right? Oh, who are we going to send to where? We'll send Isdale, and that's the way it just happened. But it did match my own love of travel and discovery.
Well, I can understand that because my father was a captain on super tankers, and my mother, like your parents, obviously, felt that travel was far more important than schooling. And we took off to, South America, the Middle East, everywhere on the tanker. And it is amazing, the education travel can give you. Those memories, I couldn't tell you what went on in school, but I can remember all those different countries and how important it is. And my daughter, the same thing, she's traveled all over the world when she was very young. Oh, well, that's fantastic, Neville. I want to thank you on behalf of, the Greek Business and Arts Festival for taking the time to join us from Barbados. We really, really appreciate it. I know how busy you are.
No, it's great. I like talking about these things, and hopefully, why do I do it? I do it because hopefully sometimes I can make some people that listen latch on to some of the earlier points about, not mulling over a crisis, but looking for an opportunity. Yeah. That maybe I can have a positive influence in doing that.
Yes.
And if I can, I don't need to know about it, but it would. I think it does happen, and I just hope it happens this time.
I agree with you. I think everything happens for a reason. Never panic. It'll all pass, no matter how bad the thing. It'll pass in time. So I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, so thanks for your perseverance with me. I apologize again. But
not at all.
I hope it's been fun for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure. Bye.
Now, I hope you enjoyed that. That was just a section of we had last night with Neville, but you can watch the full video on the Hellenic Community link. And now we're going to go on to yourselves, the Greek entrepreneurs.
1 kef zing to start your day. Let's make a delicious smoothie. You will need some frozen berries, a couple slices of banana, nuts of your choice, some water, 1 bottle of kef zing. Use a blender to mix all of the ingredients together. And enjoy your smoothie.
Can you please stay with us? We're just having a couple of technical difficulties at the moment, but we'll be back to you very shortly. Thank you very much for your patience. We are now going to have some music from Sofia and Santiago.
Γεια σας, είμαι Σαντιάγο, είμαι Αργεντινός. Δεν έχω καταγωγή στην Ελλάδα καθόλου. Είμαι μουσικός και έμαθα πώς να παίξω ελληνική μουσική, πώς να αγαπάω την ελληνική μουσική, την ελληνική κουλτούρα. Οπότε η ζωή μου οδήγησε για τέτοιος δρόμος που είμαι τώρα εδώ και μαζί με τη Σοφία να παρουσιάζουμε ελληνικά κομμάτια από το ρεβέτικο, από υπηριώτικα κτλ. Γεια σου Σοφία.
Γεια σας, εγώ είμαι Σοφία Καραγιάννη, είμαι από Αθέλα Ρεβενών, γέννημα Θρέμα, Ελληνίδα, Βλάχα, από τα γνωστά βουνά. Μου άρεσε πάρα πολύ η μουσική, ξεκίνησα από πάρα πολύ μικρή ηλικία και είμαστε εδώ με τον Σαντιάγο στο Δουβλίνο να παρουσιάσουμε κάποια ελληνικά τραγούδια.
Το πρώτο κομμάτι οπότε είναι από το Μάρκο Μπαμπακάρη, τα ζηλιάρικα σου μάτια. Τα ζηλιάρικα σου μάτια μ' έχουνε τρελάνει, δεν λογάριασα παλάτιες, σκλάβο μ' έχουν κάνει. Μαραζώνω σαν το κεράκι λιώνω, με παιδεύεις γιατί δεν μ' αγαπάς. Μαραζώνω σαν το κεράκι λιώνω, με παιδεύεις γιατί δεν μ' αγαπάς. Σε αγάπησα στα αλήθεια και για σένα πλέγω. Έχω φλόγα μες στα στήθια, άκου που στο λέω. Σαν να αντεύω, σε λατρεύω. Μην κακιώνεις γιατί θα τρελαθώ. Σαν να αντεύω, σε λατρεύω. Μην κακιώνεις γιατί θα τρελαθώ. Είναι κρίμα να μ' αφήνεις μόνος μου να λιώνω. Μαύρη συντροφιά μου δίνεις μόναχα τον πόνο. Η μάτια σου, η ασπλαχνή καρδιά σου μου έχει πάρει το δόλιο μου μυαλό. Η μάτια σου, η ασπλαχνή καρδιά σου μου έχει πάρει το δόλιο μου μυαλό.
Sofia and Santiago, welcome. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good.
How are you?
I'm very well, and you?
Pretty well.
Good. I think it's amazing you met in Dublin and you both have such an interest in Greek music. I mean, you obviously, but Santiago, coming from Argentina, were you always interested in Greek music?
Me, no, life put me in this path. I'm from Argentina. I don't have any familiar from Greece. So I'm a musician and I learn Greek music in Argentina for the Greek community in my city. And then I was learning more and more. I was a teacher in the Greek school in Buenos Aires, music teacher for Greek music. And then I take a scholarship. I went to Ioannina in Greece to learn Greek culture and language. I decided to live there for years. I lived in Athens for years. And then I moved to Barcelona and now here, 2 years.
You really love to travel.
Yeah, I learned to be lighter with all the things that we try to keep. Okay, I learned how to
travel
be
light.
more lighter.
Yeah, travel light.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. And where did you two meet? How did you meet?
Here in Ireland.
Yes.
For a year ago.
To do with music? Were you somewhere where you were playing music?
We met each other a year ago at a festival, a big festival at Epic. And after we meet again, and we started to have some...
things in common, yeah.
Very, very good. And tell me, who do you play for? Is it weddings or events? Who are the main people who hire you?
Usually, private parties. Before COVID, they can put people in weddings or parties or something like this. Now it's stop. Okay, we love music and we make music anyway. So at the moment, we know that this is the situation for all, and we continues making playlists and new songs. So at the moment that this situation changed, we want to be ready.
Yes, well. Absolutely. So, I mean, the Hellenic community must be very pleased to have you, on call. It's excellent. Very, very good. That Epic building, the CHQ, is an amazing place, and you probably saw Neville Isdell at the very beginning, who actually owns it. We were lucky enough to interview him. But going forward, what are your plans? Have you any plans? Do you want to stay in Ireland, or do you think you might go back to Argentina or Greece?
Really, I talk personally. I don't put her in the back but I learned to live the moment. So at the moment we are here together. We love the Greek music. We are in this environment with this mix of Irish culture and Greek culture, and my part from Argentina. So we love to stay here, and we are in peace staying here. So maybe we can stay for 20 years or life or 2 years. We don't know, really. It's like...
Good. Well, if people want to get in touch with you to book you, because this lockdown is going to finish soon, I hope, how would people get in touch with you?
I have an Instagram account. Sofia has her Instagram account as well. My name is Quadri.Santiago, Instagram, and Sofia.
I have Instagram with a different name. It's a little bit difficult, but okay. Usually, I'm working more for Facebook.
Oh yes. So you could be contacted through the Hellenic community.
Yeah, of course.
That's probably the easiest way, rather than looking for it. Well, it was a pleasure. Beautiful music. We really enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you so much.
And not at all.
Thank you very much.
And I wish you the very, very best going forward. Things are going to pick up, and I look forward to hearing you in the very near future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye. So now we are going to interview Sabatakis from the University of Limerick.
My name is Yannis Zabetakis. I work in the University of Limerick since 2015, and my research is on inflammation and cardiovascular diseases. I have a particular interest in marine products, especially salmon, and also dairy products, especially cheese and yogurts. Over the past few years, I have been collaborating with a dairy company called Rockfield Dairy Limited in County Mayo. And this company, they make their own yogurt and cheese from sheep's milk. The last few months, we have been successful in securing a research grant from Enterprise Ireland with this particular company, and we're going to develop a novel product, which is a yogurt drink, and we want to label this new product against cardiovascular diseases. My topic on cardiovascular diseases has been chosen because a lot of people, in specific numbers, 17.5 million people every year in the world, they die of cardiovascular diseases. So this is a massive problem, not all over the world. Especially in Ireland, we have something like 10,000 people that they die of heart diseases every year. So this is a big problem in the community and the society. It has a really high cost for the HSE, and in the University of Limerick we are doing this research in order to find out new products, new functional foods as we call them, with specific activities against cardiovascular diseases. So over the next year or so, with this company, we are going to develop a novel yogurt drink, and we are going to assess the nutritional properties of this novel yogurt drink with people. In the previous studies that we have done of this type, we have found that if you feed the people with the right product, the aggregation of the platelets and therefore the start of the cardiovascular diseases can be reduced by 30 to 40%. And this is a really strong number, strong data that they show that how these foods can have positive impact on the health of the people. As a conclusion, our research team in the University of Limerick in UL is actively working towards developing novel functional foods against cardiovascular diseases and against inflammation. Now, nowadays, we need to remember also that COVID-19 is causing inflammation in the body. So these novel functional foods could have a positive impact against cardiovascular diseases, but also against COVID-19. And this is being done, is carried out by the anti-inflammatory properties of these foods.
Hello, Zabetakis. How are you doing?
Good evening, Tina. How are you?
Not bad at all. That is fascinating, what you're doing down in the University of Limerick. I mean, as you say, so many people die of heart disease. That would be an amazing thing. Where would you sell this drink? Would it be available in supermarkets, or how would you go about, you know?
It's going to be available, yeah, in supermarkets, in stores selling biological products, in stores selling nutraceuticals. And we hope that we're going to develop not only functional foods, but also functional nutraceuticals, similar to the omega-3 pills that you have out there in the pharmacies.
Yes.
We have developed now a novel extract from salmon. And so we hope that we're going to soon apply to Enterprise Ireland for a commercialization fund in order to have our own startup company in the University of Limerick.
Oh, amazing. That would be really, really good. And the salmon would also be for cardiovascular problems.
Yeah. This is the focus of my team. We just work on cardiovascular diseases and inflammation.
Yes.
And we, as I said in my video, we have strong data suggesting that fermented dairy, like kefir that Anastasia presented earlier,
yes,
and yogurt and cheeses and also salmon have strong bioactivities against cardiovascular diseases.
And I was very interested in the anti-inflammatory side of things to do with COVID as well. I mean, This
is what happens with COVID. COVID is causing to the human body what we call inflammation.
Yes.
But also inflammation is related to a number of diseases that we call non-communicable diseases. So diseases like cancer, cardiovascular, diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, they are all related to inflammation. So when you have a product with strong anti-inflammatory properties, then this product can essentially protect you from all these diseases that I just mentioned.
Yes, and of course, all your products would be natural, so it's not like, you know, pharmaceutical pill, you know, it's all natural.
They are all natural, or they are extracts from natural sources. There are no chemicals at all. There's nothing added for the supplement or for the food. It's a product of incubation, of fermentation, what we call in everyday language in dairy industry. So they are all natural. Yeah, you are correct.
And so, I mean, this must have taken a lot of research to come up with this. That is a lot of hard work. How long has it taken you?
Well, I started this research when I was in my previous post, when I was at the University of Athens. This research has started in 2003. And then I continued this research when I moved from the University of Athens to the University of Limerick at the end of 2015. So it's about 18 years of research. Yeah, and as you can imagine, there's been a lot of work, a lot of projects on that. And now we are in a position to extract all the wisdom from all these products, from all these projects, and prepare new products for the wider community.
Yes, and why did you come from Athens, University of Athens, to University of Limerick? It's quite a jump.
It's a very big jump. It's about 4,000 kilometers. Yeah. Well, the problem was that in my research, I was always collaborating with industries. Ireland is very good in supporting this type of research. But in order to be honest, a lot of young people, younger than me, they left Greece when we started, you know, the memorandums, and the Troika came to Greece in 2010.
Yes.
So the brain drain has been massive, and there's a lot of, you know, people present in this festival that they have done the same. They left Greece because they wanted a better future for their families and for themselves. But what I want to highlight here is that the role of Enterprise Ireland, that they are so good in supporting academics with industrial and entrepreneurial spirit.
That is fantastic. And of course, Ireland is renowned for its dairy products. I mean, that's we've always been renowned for our dairy herds and all that sort of thing. So, I mean, that is amazing. I'm so glad that you're getting, you know, very good backing from, you know, Enterprise Ireland, and hopefully, you know, your products will be freely available on the shelves. And I mean, that could make a massive, massive difference to so many people.
I think it's going to be, it is going to have a huge impact, not only for the consumers of the product, but also for the producers. Imagine if Anastasia, that you spoke earlier tonight, if she could put a label on her kefir that this kefir protects from cardiovascular risk. She could sell it, you know, like no competition at all. So what we actually do in the University of Limerick, we try to produce novel functional foods that they can carry a health claim, as we call it, against cardiovascular diseases.
Yes, and why did Rockfield pick you, or did you pick Rockfield?
I found them. I found them because, you know, from my Greek background, in Greece, we have lots of cheeses that they're not from cow milk. They are from sheep and goat milk.
Yes.
So when I first came to Limerick, I started looking around for producers that they use sheep milk and goat milk. And so that's why I found Velvet Cloud, and they're doing a fantastic job there. It's a small family business that has been hit massively by the COVID, because most of the sales were going to restaurants, but they have an amazing website and they can actually sell online the yogurt now. And as I said, yeah, I found them, and then since then the chemistry between me and them, it's amazing. The collaboration is super.
Oh, that's amazing. So do you have their website, Rockfield?
No. In order to find them, you need to use the brand name of the yogurt. It's Velvet Cloud.
Velvet Cloud.
If you Google Velvet Cloud, you'll find them. And actually, they have a really nice website, not only for selling products, but also for background information about the nutritional value of dairy products.
Very good. Sabatakis, it was a pleasure to talk to you. I wish you the very, very best of luck, because I take my aspirin every day. It would be nice to be able to just take a yogurt drink.
Yeah, sure. And aspirins, they have strong side effects. So in a couple of years, we hope that you can stop your aspirin, Tina, and having a yogurt drink, which is actually much more tasty as well. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for inviting me at the festival, and all the best with the festival.
Thank you so much, Sabatakis. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So now we're going to move on to John O'Dea from Enterprise Ireland. Hello, John. How are you?
Can you hear me, Tina?
I can hear you perfectly, John. Good evening.
Very
How
good.
are you?
I'm very good.
Good. What I'd like to know is how do you help all these people, John? Everybody's been singing your praises, Enterprise Ireland, and how wonderful they are. So tell me how you go about it.
Okay. Well. First of all, I have to admit I've retired from Enterprise Ireland, so I'm no longer an Enterprise Ireland person. But I've had I suppose, a long association with Greek entrepreneurs through a program that I was involved with, a startup program run by the Bolton Trust, and I suppose Greek people are entrepreneurial by nature. So Stella asked me to say a few words about the supports that the Irish government, I suppose, gives to startups. Yes.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So it's Dr. Zabatakis's project was through the university. It was a program called Innovation Partnership. So that's one way that Enterprise Ireland supports the cooperation, I suppose, or the synergy between academics and companies, like, or the cheese company or whatever. And there's lots of support to foster that kind of relationship.
Yes.
But for startup companies or small companies or the Kafir business or whatever, there are smaller programs, and one that I think maybe the audience mightn't have heard about and mightn't know about. It's called an innovation voucher, and that's like a check for €5,000, but it can only be cashed in a third level institution, and they're very easy to get. So you apply online for an innovation voucher, and then you can go to a third level institution to do product development or process development or innovation, anything that's innovative. So that's one I suppose interesting support that the Irish state gives to very early stage businesses.
That's amazing. Yes, that's a very handy thing to know. I mean, €5,000, and to be able to go into third level is a great stepping stone for people starting out.
Yes.
So is there any other information you can give to the people watching here tonight who are either thinking of starting out or have just started out in their businesses? What other things can Enterprise Ireland offer?
Well, the local offices are called the local enterprise boards, and they support startup businesses with feasibility grants and mentors, and I suppose linking people to to others who have gone before them. So even before you get money for hiring people or grants, actually making that connection to others who are in the space is actually really useful. So contact your local enterprise office, and they're extremely helpful.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, John. You've been very informative, and I hope it gives a lot of people watching tonight the thing to get up and go and to contact Enterprise Ireland and see how they can be helped.
Absolutely. This is a great event. I mean, Business and Arts Festival, and the Greek community are wonderful. I mean, it's a great 2 evenings. So good luck with the program.
You're very kind. Thank you so much, John. Good night.
Bye bye.
So now we're going to have another song from Sophia and Santiago.
Και το επόμενο τραγούδι μας είναι το «Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι ωραία», παραδοσιακή καντάδα.
Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι ωραία. Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι ωραία. Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι εσύ. Κι αγαπώ κι όλο τον κόσμο. Αγαπώ κι όλο τον κόσμο, γιατί ζεις κι εσύ μαζί. Το παράθυρο κλεισμένο, το παράθυρο κλεισμένο, το παράθυρο κλείσω. Άνοιξε το ένα φύλλο, άνοιξε το ένα φύλλο, την εικόνα σου να δω. Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι ωραία. Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι ωραία. Σ' αγαπώ γιατί είσαι εσύ.
Back. I'm glad we've managed to sort out some of our technical difficulties and we can keep going, hopefully, for quite a while. We'd like to welcome now Syracuse Ancient Origins, their video.
What if you could see the most incredible ancient sites anywhere on Earth? What if you could visit them firsthand and discover the rich, incredible stories behind mysterious and hard-to-reach ancient sites? What about your bucket list? Is it overflowing with unexplored destinations? We've got a way to change history and archaeology travel for good. Over nearly a decade, Ancient Origins has become the #1 popular history and archaeology network, and for good reason. Ancient Origins has attracted the best and brightest enthusiasts. Together, we bring the past to life and discover true and amazing histories behind ancient sites and historic locations. We've now got over 10 million visitors a month, more than 170 contributors, and 13,000 plus articles, as well as 1 million Facebook followers and thousands of members. But we know we can take it so much farther around the globe and even back through time. We believe the #1 reason people don't achieve their travel goals and visit their dream locations is that it is difficult to get good support and advice from real experts. Perhaps high costs have kept you home, or you have special needs when traveling, or you simply couldn't find information all in one place. Like many of us trying to visit historic locations, you likely had to do your own research, make your own itinerary, pay for unexpected costs, struggle with communication in a distant land, and try to match the histories to the locations, all while trusting you were in good hands. This is no way to be a happy traveler. We knew that we had to fix this so that people could stop with the endless, complicated spreadsheet planners, frustrating searches, phone calls, and hidden costs, and get back to what matters the most: great experiences and a wealth of historical knowledge, real expert help on the ground, and tools to make your trip the absolute best. This is where you come in. With your support, we can change history travel. We are creating Ancient Roots, a new hub of travel exploration and a launching point for your history and archaeology trips. Ancient Roots will make the world's historical and cultural richness available to archaeology and history travelers like you with a new website platform. This new companion site to Ancient Origins will feature a library of quality, peer-reviewed content. It will offer immersive and interactive 360-degree videos and photos to help you know exactly what you are getting into with the trip. Using AI software to create customized traveling suggestions, and a web assistant that schedules a plan, heritage travelers will enjoy easy booking. They'll have a unique travel experience, they'll save money, and they'll finally have the opportunity to connect with truly local, knowledgeable guides. When you give your support, you're helping to speed the foundation for the largest ever project related to heritage traveling and archaeological sites worldwide. You've already made Ancient Origins #1. Get your bucket lists ready. Together, we can make those trips to amazing ancient sites easy and finally doable. Together, we're making history.
Can you hear?
Kalspera. Hi, good evening.
How are
Hi,
you?
Dina. Hi, Dina. I'm great, thank you.
Good, good. First of all, I must say you have an amazing website. Where is that staircase? On your.
Sorry, could you repeat, please?
Where that introductory video you have is amazing. It's beautifully done, and I'm wondering, where is that beautiful staircase behind the presenter?
That's a hired company that they did it, so I have no idea.
Oh, really? Oh, it's amazing. It's really wonderful. So tell me about your business.
So we started about 7 years ago with during the crisis, the universal crisis. So we left Greece, we went to Australia, where I was teaching at the university, and there we decided to start a new business with my wife. So we wrote down all the things that are interested for us, and we found out the common hobbies that we have, and one of these was ancient history. So we said, okay, let's make a business out of it. And we started on our own, doing everything at the beginning for the first maybe 1.5 to 2 years. We started with one website, that's the Ancient Origins website, which in the process it grew. Now it's #1 worldwide. And in parallel, we started multiple projects around the brand. So we started a membership platform where you can have webinars and live interviews with experts and archaeologists, ebooks. Later on, we started expeditions, real-life expeditions in South America. Then we started a magazine, which this year will go also, is going to be printed in the US and probably in Europe too. We started last year tours, but at the moment they are on hold because of COVID. And we start this year, this project that we saw in the video, the Ancient Roots, which is going to be a combination of TripAdvisor and Lonely Planet, but focused on heritage traveling all over the world. At the moment, we cover every single country in the world in terms of mythology and history and archaeological news. And this year we also start a very special ancestry DNA test in collaboration with the university in Sweden, where it will compare your DNA directly with people who actually lived thousands of years ago, depending on where you want to test, with an ancient Greek or an ancient Israelite or an ancient American, and you'll have a very, very precision, accurate route of your family path from the ancient times to now.
That's amazing. That's really quite something. Very interesting. How you progressed from one idea to another. And these tours, I know you say at the moment with COVID, they're on hold, but how do you organize this? How many people would need to go on these tours to make it viable?
So we did a collaboration with an award-winning travel agency in the UK, and they are doing the fulfillment part. So we are basically licensing our name and our experts, and we have experts in different fields that guide the tours, top experts, best experts, and they will take you to places that you wouldn't go in a normal tour. So they will do the major well-known archaeological sites in the country that you are visiting, and then they will take you to places that you won't be able to access without going through this tour. And we did, the first one was in Egypt in February last year, just before COVID. So when we came back, 3 weeks later, everything was locked down. So it was the first successful tour, and we have a lot in line for next year.
Oh, have you? Lovely. That's amazing. And is it rude to ask? They must be quite expensive, these tours, if you've got, all these people who are experts to guide you through it. It's not for the faint-hearted, obviously. You've got to be really interested in archaeology and the ancient world. So it's a tour of a lifetime, basically.
Yes, and actually with the expeditions that we started 2 years ago, we opened them. Usually it's our team. So we have our team of experts that will join expeditions. So what we will do is we will find a legend and a myth of a country, and we'll start investigating this with interviewing people, indigenous people, and then we will go to the place where this legend took place, trying to find more information, actual real life information for this specific history or legend that we're trying to investigate.
That's amazing. And do you have much going on in Greece? I mean, with all the ancient sites in Greece, that must be, and your background.
We don't. So we started with popular destinations based on our audience. So we have about 6 million people viewing our content every month. Oh. So we started with them to see what would be their interest. So we started with Egypt. Next year we have Turkey, we have Mexico, and obviously we're planning Greece too. It's in our plans, but everything is on hold at the moment until we see where this is going.
Yes.
But definitely Greece will be a destination, obviously. Yeah.
Yes. Do you get to go back to Greece very often?
No, we traveled a lot in the last 7 years. So we lived a few years in London, we lived a few years in Australia, then we went to South America for a few years, and now we are 3 years in Ireland.
Ah, yes.
So,
how do you see yourself and your family within the Hellenic community here in Ireland?
Well, my goal is to try to help as much as I can. Not only with people that they want to start their own businesses, but generally with the Hellenic community. Now, I don't know if we're going to be in Ireland forever, because we travel a lot, so I'm not sure what the future is, but Ireland will be our base.
Yes.
So even if we go to another country for a few years, our base will still be Ireland.
And after Ireland, where is your favorite place? Or do you have one? There are too many.
Italy,
yes. I was in Tuscany a couple of years, just before lockdown.
I love Tuscany.
I was blown away by it. I couldn't believe it. It was so beautiful. Everything about it I loved.
Yeah, me too.
Really, really wonderful. Well, Yanni, I wish you the very best. Not that you need the very best of luck, because obviously your website and your company is so popular already, but I wish you the best of luck with your magazine and everything going forward. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
Tina.
us.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well indeed, thank you.
Good. Paul, can you tell us one of the first cosmopolitan people is Lafcadio Ahern?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of a writer who was more cosmopolitan than Hearn, a man who has more of a mixture of cultures in his life and in his writings, but also a man whose whole mentality and psychology transcended, narrow nationalism, the imperialism of the 19th century, and so on. So I remember when I was going to school reading an essay by Oliver Goldsmith, where he called himself a citizen of the world. And when I discovered Lafcadio Ahern in the 1970s, I thought to myself, my goodness, this is the real citizen of the world.
Yes, yes. Paul, you're Irish. Where are you from in Ireland?
I come from Carlow, which, as you will know, is about 50 miles south of Dublin. And I was educated at a Catholic boarding school near there, very similar to the one Lafcadio Ahern attended in England, run by diocesan priests.
All right.
And then I was educated at Trinity College Dublin after that, and then I joined the Foreign Service.
Yes. Why did you decide to become a diplomat?
Well, I guess, the Ireland I grew up in was a very claustrophobic place, but my mother had been a teacher in England during the war, so I grew up with stories of living through the Blitz, of being evacuated to the countryside with the children and so on. And so I was aware really from infancy of this wider world beside me. Then in the 1960s, we used to go to France every summer because I have family in France. And also in the 1960s, a cousin of mine went to Japan and spent a year in Kyoto. He was an architect. And so, and then actually, just after I joined the Foreign Service, I discovered Greece. That's another story.
Yeah.
So I guess I grew up not wanting to be defined by, as I saw, the narrowness of the Ireland that I grew up in. And through, as I say, my mother's experiences, family connection in France and so on, I was aware of this wider world.
Yes, I mean, travel is an amazing thing. It really broadens your mind. Excuse me. The other thing I was wondering was, were you always interested in culture?
Yes, I suppose I was lucky in that both of my parents were teachers, and they were both interested in culture, particularly literature. My father was very musical as well. So culture was always part of our house. And I was somebody who, my main hobby when I was a child was reading. That's what I loved doing more than anything else. So yeah, no, culture has always been part of my DNA, if you like. And even today, I need to read every day, but I also, for example, need to listen to music. So culture kind of really defines me, I suppose.
And what kind of music do you like listening to? Anything in particular?
Well, I'm a great Wagner fan, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I like classical music. But one thing my mother could never understand about my father, and my wife has difficulty understanding about me, and that is that, I love every kind of music. So I can go from Jimi Hendrix to Wagner to Mozart. So as long as it, has melody and so on, I don't care. I love Greek music, for example. I have some.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to ask you. That's the beauty of Alexa. You can ask her to play any kind of music and she comes up with it, like Hendrix or Wagner or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I discovered Greek music in the first year I was in Foreign Affairs. I went to Greece for the summer with a friend of mine, and we traveled around, and We saw Athens and islands like Corfu and so on. But then we took a ferry to Crete, and we found a lovely little port there called Agios Nikolaos. And we settled down there and we just loved it. And every evening, you know, there was music in the tavernas and so on, lots of balalaika music. And so I developed an appreciation for Greek cuisine, Greek music, and Greek people, I have to say.
Yes, I like Lafcadio Ahern. How important is Lafcadio Ahern's entrance into the Dictionary of Irish Biographies?
I think very important, and I'll just hold up, in fact, the volume here.
Oh.
That's volume 4, in which we have Lafcadio. Now that's one of 9 volumes, so it's a huge. It takes a whole bookshelf. It's a huge enterprise, if you like. And to be honest, I always felt that Ireland was lagging behind places like Greece and Japan, and even Britain in its appreciation of Hearn. And for example, in 1998, I went to a conference in Athens, an academic conference at the University of Athens. And afterwards we went to Lefkada, I should say. And I saw there, you know, a statue of Lafcadio on the waterfront. So Ireland really wasn't doing very much. I'll just hold up this wonderful medallion that we got for attending that conference.
Oh, 1998, yes.
In Athens, yeah. So when I was approached by the editors and asked to do an article, 2 articles actually, one on Bram Stoker and the other on Lafcadio, I thought the Lafcadio one was particularly important because Ireland hadn't really acknowledged Lafcadio to that point. And I felt that this really established Lafcadio in Ireland and as part of Irish literature, not exclusively. He belongs to a lot of different countries, including Greece, Japan, and so on. But it's Ireland giving him, I think this was the first really major recognition that Ireland made, that it was embracing Hearn and accepting him as somebody with an Irish component to him.
Yes, yes. That's very, very interesting. Well, Paul Murray, Irish ambassador and diplomat, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. A pleasure. Thank you.
All the best.
All the best.
Now we'll have another song from Sophia and Santiago.
Το επόμενο τραγούδι είναι ένα μίξ που κάναμε με την Σοφία από τα υπηριώτικα τραγούδια Γιάννη μου το μαντίλι σου και...
Στις Πικροδάφνης στον Ανθό.
Αυτό.
Ωρε Γιάννη μου το, Γιάννη μου το, άιτε, Γιάννη μου το μαντίλι σου,
thank you, Sophia and Santiago, for that lovely song. Now, we're very, very international because we've been to Barbados already. Now we're going to Japan, and we have a video from the great-grandson of Lafcadio Hearn. He's joining us now by video.
Good evening. My name is Bon Koizumi, the great-grandson of Lafcadio Hearn and the director of the Lafcadio Hearn Memorial Museum in Matsue in Japan. Thank you for inviting me to the 5th Greek Business and Arts Festival organized by the Hellenic community of Ireland. And I also thank to Ms. Stella Xenopoulou, who is the president of the community, my friend Paul Murray, and Maria Genezeru for arranging this interview. I have a great opportunity today, and I'd like to talk a little about my great-grandfather and myself. My great-grandfather, Patrick Lafcadio Hearn, is a Greek-Irish writer, born in Lefkada, Greece in 1850, raised in Ireland, educated in France and the UK, and immigrated to the United States alone at the age of 19. In the United States, he lived in Cincinnati and New Orleans as a journalist for about 20 years. Then he stayed in Martinique, French West Indies, for 2 years before arriving in Japan at the age of 39. Hearn was fascinated by traditional Japanese culture in Matsue, where he was first assigned to Japan as an English teacher. And he married Setsu Koizumi, the daughter of a samurai who met there. For the last several years, he taught at the Imperial University in Tokyo, but died of a heart attack at the age of 54. His 54-year life was a journey around more than half the globe. That life was a series of catastrophes. His beloved mother, Rosa, returned to Greece when he was 4, and his parents divorced at the age of 7. And at the age of 16, he lost his left eye. Before and after his arrival in the United States, he experienced destitute life and illegal marriage with a former slave woman, Mattie, and 2 infectious diseases. However, from the experience of such a catastrophe, I think he has acquired an attitude of understanding different cultures with an open mind. He grew up listening to fairy tales and ghost stories from his nanny, Catherine Costello, during his childhood in Ireland. That made him interested in the supernatural world throughout his life and realized that there was a kind of truth. I'd like to talk about influence by Lafcadio for me. I've loved traveling and vehicles since I was a child. And by the time I was 12, I was traveling alone in various parts of Japan. I was sometimes mistaken for a runaway boy and reported to the police. I'm about to turn 60, and I've never lost interest in traveling during that time. I have traveled to Ireland and Greece several times, and I'm particularly fascinated by the small seaside towns that are not big cities. I think it may be a gift from her, who lived a life of traveling around the world with a one-way ticket. The other is that I majored in folklore, where I can do field work at the university because I love traveling. I live in Matsue now, because the Izmo region is also treasure trove of folklore, and I was drawn to its charm. As a pioneering folklorist, Hearn collected folk beliefs and folk tales in New Orleans, Martinique, and Japan. My interest in folklore may have been unknowingly influenced by Hearn. Lafcadio Hearn thought that we can learn about social knowledge and how we interact with nature and the other world. In other words, about social distance from folk tales. And above all, the most important thing for Hearn was imagination. He defines a teacher as the best authors and teachers in these days will be found, those who season dry fact with the spice of fancy. He thought Andersen's imagination was too great. He would have thought that reading and listening to folk tales would enhance our imagination, sharpen our senses, and increase our curiosity. Since 2004 in Matsue, I have been telling elementary school students about Hearn's life and working with them while sharpening their five senses. As a result, children are becoming more and more interested in the city where they live. I would like to continue place-based education through Hearn, and I hope that children overseas will also read Lafcadio Hearn's works and enrich their imagination in a mysterious world. We are working to make many modern people aware of his open mind, which is the underlying idea of many of Hearn's works. Hearn hated Eurocentrism, Christian centrism, and anthropocentrism, and did not think the world was complete in the human world alone. In addition, he believed that people should not forget their awe for the invisible another world and nature. In 1894, he gave a lecture on the future of Japan in Kumamoto. In that lecture, he said that living in harmony with nature and living in a simple life is the most important for Japan in the future. Hearn has also published articles and works on at least 6 infectious diseases in his lifetime. In it, he evaluated human courage and kindness in such emergencies rather than attacking infected people. I think his fair and affectionate view of others resonates with the SDGs adopted by the United Nations. The Open Mind of Lafcadio Hearn project, which began in 2009, was held in Athens, Matsue, New York, New Orleans, Lefkada, Dublin, Cincinnati, and other places around the world. The term Hearn's open mind was originally conceived by Takis F. Stasiu and is now sympathetic all over the world. There, Hearn's open mind was perceived as the opposite of division in that it connects the East and the West, the people and the people, and the living and the dead. I think Hearn's work has important hints for realizing a sustainable, symbiotic society. Thank you very much.
And now we have Stella.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are, as this festival is about mixing culture and traditions with entrepreneurship, I can't think of a more relevant and better character that came to Greece from the east than our beloved Karagiozis. So we had planned to have somebody playing live some Karagiozis, which is a shadow puppet theater. But unfortunately, Makis Harbas is the owner of the Puppet Shadow Theater in Greece, and unfortunately he got sick because he got the COVID vaccination, and he has very high temperature. So he only got sick today. So unfortunately he will not join us today, but. Makis has promised to come and visit us. He made that promise 3 years ago, and he's intending to keep it. He's just waiting for our invitation. He wants to come and build Karagiozis Puppet Shadow Theater for the Greek school. So we'll just enjoy a bit of Karagiozis now, the small video that Thodoris Teo has prepared for us instead of Makis Harbas. And we will then move back to Tina and and Colenso books because a huge discovery was made by Anthony Hurst on Karagiozis. So Anthony will tell us all about that. Thank you.
Good evening, Anthony. How are you?
Good evening, Tina.
Now, we heard from Bon Kozumi that he participated in a very successful conference in Lefkada, where Japanese shadow theatre was presented. You produced a book on the very famous shadow puppet theatre, Karagiozis, in English. How did that come about? Oh, there it is. Very good. Yes.
Reflection.
I can see it.
This came about because of Theodore Stefanidis. So I have to start with him.
Okay.
Because these are his translations. They're translations from memory of 3 Karagiozis scripts.
Yes.
Personally, I've seen Karagiozis twice in live, once at a conference in Corfu, and once, more interestingly, entirely by chance, in the square of a city in northern Greece. I think it was Florida. But if I go back a bit, when I was briefly for 3 years the director of the Doral School of Corfu, we did 2 things. One, we published the first Stefanidis book for a long time called Autumn Gleanings.
Yes.
Corfu Memoirs and Poems. And we also unveiled a plaque on the building where he used to have his consulting room. And at that point, we invited his daughter, Alexia Stefanidis Mercouri, to come to Corfu and to take part in the unveiling and to speak to us. And I got to know her after that very well. Those English people who know Stefanidis know him as the mentor mainly of Gerald Durrell, because he's a character under his own name in My Family and Other Animals. But this point in time, a very strange publication had come about in France, which was the publication of Stefanidis' letters to Lawrence Durrell, but not in the original English, only in Greek and French translations. And Alexia and I agreed that we ought to publish them in English. This hasn't happened yet. But then she told me that that all of her father's papers were in a filing cabinet in the cellar of a house in London, where one of her sons still lived. And it took about 5 years for the son to actually find them.
Ooh.
When he found them, there was a 4-drawer filing cabinet absolutely stuffed with folders of typescripts, mainly of Theodore's work. And among those were the Karagiozis scripts. In fact, two of them had been published in a sort of Greek newspaper in London called the Greek Gazette in the 1970s. One of them had never been seen before. And of course, not many people have read the Greek Gazette. So that's how that book came into existence.
That's amazing.
And it's part of a much bigger project, which is to publish or republish everything that Stefanidis wrote. And he was an extraordinary polymath. He was a fully trained doctor and a radiologist who trained under Marie Curie in Paris. He was an astronomer who discovered a crater on the moon, which was named after him. He was a naturalist specializing in the biology of fresh water. And he was a poet and a short story writer and a prolific translator of Greek poetry from Sappho to the mid-19th century.
Gosh, what a fulfilled life.
And
I mean, so diverse. Amazing.
So what was partly behind my publishing, going into publishing, was this idea to put Stefanidis back into print. Into print. I've got 5 or 6 quite large volumes in an advanced state of preparation now.
So you're a very busy man too.
Much too busy, yes.
Tell me, were you always interested in Greek folklore and culture, literature and poetry?
It grew slowly. It grew slowly because my first contact with anything Greek was learning New Testament Greek.
Oh, really?
Because when I was a teenager, I had in mind to become a priest in the Anglican Church. I went to Cambridge to study theology. When I had an interview for Cambridge, they just said to me, get some A-levels, no grades were ever specified, and learn Greek and we'll see you in 18 months' time.
Really?
So I got the book, and over the 6 months period before I went to university, I taught myself New Testament Greek. And about a year after my first year in Cambridge, I visited Greece for the first time. That would be 1964. And I've been an irregular visitor ever since.
So where were you born? In the UK?
Oh, yes, in the UK, in Huddersfield, in Yorkshire.
Ah, and you grew up in Yorkshire, did you?
Yes, yes.
Ah, so you developed an interest in theology. At what age? Very young?
About 15.
Oh, really? And that's what led you to learning Greek, to get into university.
Yes.
So you started the International Byzantine Greek Summer School. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, it wasn't actually me that started it. It was started in 2002 by a colleague of mine when I was teaching in Queen's University, Belfast. But at that stage, it was only a 2-week course for beginners.
Oh, right.
And when I took it over in 2006, when my colleague Bob Jordan retired, I gradually built it up into what it is now, which is it goes on for a month and the 4 different levels. And it's moved from Belfast to the University of Birmingham and then in 2016 to Trinity College Dublin.
Oh, okay. So it moves around a lot. Where after that, or is it going to stay in Trinity?
Well, I hope it's going to stay in Trinity because it's much better there. It's a much more welcoming environment for us.
Yes, it's a wonderful environment, really. I mean, amazing. Anthony, thank you so much. It's been very, very interesting speaking to you. And the best of luck going forward with all your different amazing things.
Well, I'm hoping that all of my books connected with Greece are going to be on the Hellenic Community's bookshop site soon.
Oh, good. Yes. Well, do get in touch immediately and let us know. We'd be more than delighted.
Yeah, and there was a little video of all the book covers, but it seems to have been missed out.
Ah, no, really? Oh, we'll have to look at that. We'll have to add it in. Thank you so much. We will.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Good night.
Good night.
The next video we have is from Manus Bus, and I must say when I first saw it, I was absolutely blown away by how brave Manus was to come to Ireland with 3 children and a wife and very little money in his pocket and turn it into an absolute dream. So Manus Bus is the next video.
I came to Ireland in 1990, 12th of December. I bought my first bus in 1995 in December. I came here in Ireland with 3 kids and my wife and 23 pounds. We put savings 20 pounds every week in the credit union. And in 1995, it came a business proposition of a man getting retired and selling his business. And I went to the credit union and I got a loan. In the first year, I clocked 121,000 miles. And I pay up that bus, and I bought the second bus cash. I bought my second bus in August, 8 months later after the first one. And then I bought a taxi 3 months later. At the time, in 1995, Greystones had no DART. So I got an office beside the DART station, and from there I expand. I bought the third bus only a couple months later. So my first bus, when I bought it, I was doing 2 schools, the St. Anne School in St. Hill and the Kilmechanic National School. Every year I was adding 1 bus on the fleet for 6 years, plus the taxi that I got for the DART station. And I saw an opportunity there with the taxi work. So I had the taxi down there and 2 or 3 small buses, and we take all the work out. 2001, I got the coach which I put it on the tours, and I got a contract with the Boss Aron also. From 2001, I had the schools, tours, sports, and I got in the Boss Aron. And from there, I was expanding rapidly. When I went to the tourism, I started going to a different area. So 2006, I bought a brand new 38-seater. And from then, I started to do tours and all, full time. The company at the full capacity was serving 8 buses, 100,000 people per year with 13 drivers. Now, business are very quiet. I'm ready to restart. Hopefully the virus will be terminated. We have sanitizers and screens on the buses fitted. And we hope to see back schools, sports, hospitality. I can't wait to go work.
That was very interesting. Now we have Stella, who is going to talk to us about Costa.
Thank you. Yes, we're going to watch the video that Thodoris made for Kostas Chalkiadakis and his business, and then we will interview Kostas live. Thank you.
Kostas Olive Oil is a family-run business set up by my husband Kostas. We're relatively new. We're based here in Drogheda in County Louth, and we're hoping to get our products out there in the market.
Είμαι ο Κώστας από Κρήτη. Every product here comes from Greece. We used to have a lot of land over in Greece, and now it is run by our family, my cousins and my uncles. This honey is also imported from Crete. The bees rest on the mountains of Crete, and it comes here and we package it again as a family. We are HSC approved.
Επίσης, είναι και οι ρίγανοι, είναι μαζεμένοι από τα βουνά της Κρήτης και καθαρισμένοι από την οικογένειά μου στην Ιρλανδία.
Hello, I'm Nicholas. Once a month, me and my dad go to the Cottage Market in St. Peter's Parish in Drogheda to help out with the business. Hope to see you there soon.
Really nice meze φοράκι.
Good evening, Κώστα. Καλησπέρα, Κώστα.
Καλησπέρα σας, τι κάνετε?
Καλά.
Ακούτε?
Ευχαριστούμε. Σ' ακούμε, ναι, μια χαρά. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που ξαναήρθες στο φεστιβάλ. I just want to say that Kostas, this is our 5th Greek Business and Arts Festival, and it is Kostas' 5th participation. So Kostas...
Δεν σ' ακούω πολύ καλά, Στέλλα.
Kostas was started as in the beginning, the first time when he came to the festival, he was experimenting. He didn't know whether he will develop it into a business or not. He just wanted to see how it will go, and he was very scared, may I just say. He was afraid, I should say, because he came from Greece and to start a completely new life. His wife is Irish, but he decided to move all the family here and start from scratch. So he wasn't sure whether he was ready to take another big step to start his own business. So So well done, Kostas, for all the courage. Well done to all your family, because you started from zero in Ireland, and you had the courage to actually say, that's life, we are all healthy, and let's move on. It doesn't matter what happened in Greece, the financial restraints, we're going to move on and continue, and why not take advantage of your favorite products that increase the risk, isn't it? So, Κώστα, θέλω να μας πεις λίγο για αυτό, γιατί σε γνώρισα αμέσως όταν πρωτοήρθες στην Ιρλανδία με την οικογένεια, και θυμάμαι όταν σου είπα Κώστα, έλα κάνουμε το πρώτο μας φεστιβάλ, έλα να συμμετέχεις, και λες, μα δεν ξέρω τι να κάνω και δεν έχω την επιχείρηση ακόμα, δεν ξέρω αν θα το κάνω επιχείρηση, τι να πω, φοβόσουνα. Πες μου λίγο γι' αυτό, Κώστα, και πώς τελικά αποφάσισες να αναπτύξεις την επιχείρηση και πώς έχεις φτάσει τώρα να λες ότι έχεις και μια δική σου επιχείρηση. Αυτό.
Δεν ήταν έτσι εύκολο για μένα, γιατί έφερνα το δικό μου λάδι, δηλαδή τα δικά μου προϊόντα. Από την οικογένειά μου πάλι από την Κρήτη. Δηλαδή ελιές, ρίγανη, μαζεύανε από το βουνό. Το δικό μου λάδι από την οικογένειά μου που είναι κάπωσο. Άρα λοιπόν για να το πουλήσω εδώ έπρεπε να το εμφιαλώνω. Έπρεπε να περάσω δηλαδή το HRC και όλα αυτά για να μπορέσω να γίνω νόμος και να μπορέσω να αρχίσω να πουλάω, να φτιάξω business δηλαδή. Άρα λοιπόν ήταν λίγο δύσκολο, τώρα όλα τα πέρασα. Πέρασα το HRC. Είμαι νόμος, έχω βγάλει τη δική μου ταμπέλα και πουλάω πάλι το δικό μου ελαιόλαδο.
Έτσι.
Έχω 3-4 προϊόντα που πουλάω 5, δηλαδή ελαιόλαδο, το μέλι, το παξιμάδι, ελιές, ρίγανη και σαπούνι που βγαίνει πάλι από το ελαιόλαδο, και ασχολούμαι όλα με αυτά, μόνο με αυτά.
Ναι, αλλά θυμάμαι, Κώστα, ότι αυτό το πράγμα, το να φέρεις το δικό σου λάδι ή τη δική σου ρίγανη για να φάει η οικογένειά σου, από το να το μετατρέψεις μετά σε business, να μπορείς να το πουλάς και τα λοιπά, αυτό σε φόβιζε στην αρχή, γιατί δεν ήξερες τη γραφειοκρατία την Ιρλανδική, δεν ήξερες τι έπρεπε να κάνεις. Πόσο δύσκολο ήταν αυτό για σένα?
Πάρα πολύ δύσκολο. Ήταν, καταρχήν δεν μιλούσα τη γλώσσα. Αυτό ήταν το πιο δύσκολο απ' όλα. Πολύ λίγα ήξερα. Άρα λοιπόν ήταν πολύ δύσκολο και έπρεπε να... Δηλαδή δεν έφερα ένα προϊόν το οποίο ήταν έτοιμο από την Ελλάδα με το HRC, με όλα του, να το πουλάω εδώ. Αυτό θα ήταν πιο εύκολο. Έπρεπε εδώ να περάσει από όλο τον έλεγχο της Ιρλανδίας. Αλλά τελικά η Ιρλανδία, εγώ σκεφτόμουν ελληνικά.
Έτσι.
Η Ιρλανδία είναι τελείως διαφορετικά. Σου δίνει πολλά περιθώρια. Άρα λοιπόν πιστεύω εύκολα ότι ξεπέρασα όλα τα εμπόδια.
Μπράβο. Οπότε καλά σε έκανα, Κώστα, και σε τράβαγα.
Πολύ καλά. Πολύ καλά. Πολύ καλά ήταν. Ναι. Και η αλήθεια είναι ότι το πρώτο ελαιόλαδο το έφερα για 5-6 φίλους για μένα. Τον Ξενοφόντα, εσάς.
Ναι.
Και έτσι άρχισα κιόλας.
Έτσι. Κοίτα, εμείς οι Έλληνες εδώ και οι φίλοι Ιρλανδοί, οι οποίοι αγαπάνε τα ελληνικά προϊόντα, όταν ανακοίνωσε ο Πέτρος ο Κόνσουλας και εσύ ότι θα αρχίσετε να φέρνετε, και ο Νίκος ο Σκευούλης και τα λοιπά, ότι θα αρχίσετε να φέρνετε λάδι και ρίγανη από την Κρήτη. Δηλαδή, ξέρεις, μπορεί να οργανώσαμε το πρώτο φεστιβάλ, ας πούμε, και είπαμε πρέπει να δείχνουμε τον κόσμο ο οποίος σκέφτεται να ανοίξει επιχείρηση και τα λοιπά. Αλλά το κάναμε και για τους εαυτούς μας, να φάμε λίγο, να λαδώσεις λίγο το εντεράκι μας, έτσι.
Και εντάξει, εγώ
οπότε,
είμαι και σεφ.
Σας ευχαριστούμε.
Να είστε καλά. Εγώ είμαι και σεφ στην Κρήτη, άρα λοιπόν ήξερα από κρητικά προϊόντα. Εντάξει, εγώ ένα από τα προβλήματά μου εδώ στην Ιρλανδία είναι το φαγητό. Δηλαδή, όταν πρωτόρθα εδώ δεν μπορούσα να φάω τίποτα. Και το έφτιαχνα κι εγώ. Δηλαδή, έψηνα μακαρόνια με τσιμάτσι, δεν μπορούσα να τα φάω κι εγώ. Εντάξει, βρήκα την άκρη.
I was just saying for our Irish friends that are watching us that one of the main reasons that we started the Business and Arts Festival, it wasn't just to show the people that are interested in start their own business in Ireland, but it was to encourage people to actually do it. and start bringing Greek products from Greece, because we were all missing it so much. And Kostas was just he just said and admitted that he couldn't eat when he arrived in Ireland. He found it difficult to eat without Greek olive oil, without fresh oregano. So he did it for his own taste buds first, and then he started giving some of his own olive oil to his friends, including me. At the Greek school, Kostas brought his children to the Greek school immediately when he arrived to Ireland. So we met him like that. And we were begging him to start bringing more products, himself and Petros Konsoulas. So we are grateful to them for actually deciding to turn it into a business and give it to a wider audience. So thank you, yes. And Kostas did say that he found that he was thinking with a Greek mind when he arrived. So he was very scared to start the business because he was worried that he might run into trouble with taxation, with the health and safety. He just didn't know, and he found the Irish system very helpful. And even for somebody that had very little English, next to none, he managed to pass all the tests and comply with HSE guidelines and actually do it. And now he's up and running as a proper business. And just to say something more, which I think is very funny, the first time I asked Kostas for an insurance certificate, because our insurance company, the insurance company of the Hellenic Community of Ireland, wanted the insurance certificate from all the participants to the festival. Kostas gave me the house insurance. Or was it the life insurance? I don't remember. But it just shows how the mentality is so different. And in Greece, that wouldn't have been the case. Somebody wouldn't need insurance. And so it just shows that how difficult can be for somebody that is coming from Greece and wants to start a business in Ireland. This mental change that has to happen is huge. And this is why the festival, one of the reasons that the festival exists is because it's trying to help people make that realization and that change, and from the Greek mentality to the Irish mentality. And οπότε Κώστα, ναι, νομίζω κατάλαβες πλέον, τα αγγλικά σου είναι αρκετά καλά και το κατάλαβες, αλλά τα θυμάσαι και γελάς και εσύ, βλέπω, όπως αυτά που περάσαμε.
Και χρόνια. Χρόνια πολλά.
Ναι, είναι πολύ ωραίο, είναι κατόρθωμα αυτό που έχεις κάνει, Κώστα, συγχαρητήρια. Εγώ σε θεωρώ και εσένα και την οικογένειά σου, όπως και το Μανώλη που είδαμε αμέσως πριν από σένα, ήρωες. Πραγματικά είστε ήρωες. Σηκωθήκατε, είπατε δεν το βάζουμε κάτω, δεν χρειάζεται να γκρινιάζουμε, δεν χρειάζεται να κλαιγόμαστε, δεν χρειάζεται να κατηγορούμε συνέχεια. Ήρθαμε και θα αλλάξουμε τη ζωή μας και θα την καλυτερέψουμε και θα βρούμε τις ευκαιρίες που μπορούμε να βρούμε και θα τις αξιοποιήσουμε. Έτσι δεν είναι?
Έτσι ακριβώς, ναι. Όλα καλά. Υγεία και χαρά να έχουμε.
Έτσι, μπράβο. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, Κώστα. Καλή συνέχεια. Να πω ότι η σύζυγος του Κώστα είναι Ιρλανδέζα και εκείνη έκανε και εκείνη αυτό το μεγάλο βήμα να έρθουν. Έτσι, πολύ, πολύ μεγάλη βοήθεια.
Όχι, ήταν και τα παιδιά και η γυναίκα.
Έτσι.
Αγγλικά μου είναι σε μέτρια κατάσταση.
Έτσι. Η Μαρτίνα όμως μίλαγε άπτεστα ελληνικά και μιλάει άπτεστα ελληνικά.
Βέβαια,
οπότε,
βέβαια. 20 χρόνια στην Ελλάδα.
20 μετά από 20 χρόνια στην Ελλάδα. Έτσι. Ωραία. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, Κώστα.
Και εγώ ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Καλή συνέχεια.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ και καλές επιτυχίες.
Έτσι. Ευχαριστούμε. Και ελπίζω του χρόνου στο 6ο φεστιβάλ να είμαστε πάλι όλοι εκεί και ζωντανά πλέον για να απολαύσουμε λίγο τις μυρωδιές σου και έτσι, τις ωραίες μυρωδιές. Έγινε. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, Κώστα. Καληνύχτα. Ευχαριστούμε. So, Tina, what is next?
Christos Sempos. Now we welcome Christos Sempos of B2B Digital. Good evening, Christos. How are you?
Hey, Tina, how are you?
Very well indeed. Now, you've watched all those different companies. How can you help them?
How can I? I didn't hear you, sorry.
Yes, how can you help them? How can you help all these different companies? You've seen them all. Obviously, there's different pathways for each of them, but generally speaking, how do you feel you could help them to promote their businesses?
Our job is to create websites, e-commerce stores, branding, social media, videography, photography, online advertising, practically anything around digital marketing. We're also mentors with the local enterprise offices of Lis, Offaly, and Harlow. So we're helping local startups. All the local startups of our area are coming to us. We're practically the best marketing company in the Midlands. And that's practically what we do.
Yes. And when did you actually come to Ireland, and where did you come from?
Where our origins are from the mountains of Peloponnese, where me and my wife were raised in Athens, Greece.
Yes.
But I was born in Montreux, Switzerland, by Greek parents, of course. And we both studied in Athens, and we managed to come into Ireland right after the crisis, sometime in 2012. We set up the business, and we managed to have an extra postgraduate degree, a master's degree in our field on digital marketing, and then started the business.
And so your wife is in digital marketing as well, is she?
Exactly. We have the same degree of qualifications. I only have a bit more experience. I'm in the field. I'm in the business in marketing for over 27 years.
Yes, yeah, that's amazing. And it's interesting to see how many Greeks did come to Ireland after the crash, the recession.
Oh, yes, yes.
It really, the Greek community grew a lot here after that. Where are you living now? Are you living down in Carlow in the Midlands?
We're living in County Lis. That's practically above Carlow and between Athlone and Carlow. Carlow.
Yes, yes. And are you happy down there?
Oh, we're very happy, very happy. And the people are amazing. Our neighbors immediately embraced us and accepted us in the community, and seeing that we're doing a lot of work to help the community as well, and helping new businesses start up and setting up their websites and their presence online. That was very, very helpful. And especially now with the COVID, the businesses that are closed are coming to us to develop an e-commerce website to sell their products online. It's the only way to go.
Yes, so that's very interesting that in actual fact, it hasn't hindered you at all, the COVID pandemic, it's actually growing your business because people are having to do more business online.
Exactly, yes, and that happens on more professions. Even physiotherapists and even psychologists are offering online services now, you know, and not only products and things that are posted, but they can offer online sessions and support to other people.
Yes, and what are your plans for the future? I mean, do you intend to stay in Laois, or do you hope your company will expand a lot?
We're planning to expand. We have an expansion plan to expand in other countries as well, because we already sell in the United States. We already have clients back in Greece. We already have clients in the UK. So we're getting there.
Oh, that's very good. So you're becoming worldwide, huh?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yes, you are. You are.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, Christos, I wish you the very best of luck with your business. I'm delighted it's doing so well during lockdown. And we look forward to seeing lots of your advertisements everywhere and your website.
And I wanted to add the significant advantage that our clients have in our business.
Yes.
Beside, you know, comparing ourselves to our main competitors that are based in Dublin, we have much less overheads.
So not as expensive.
Exactly, and that means that we can offer our services in much more competitive prices, and that's very helpful for our startup businesses that don't have the budgets to go to a big agency.
Yes.
And on top of that, as we both work on the business and we implement every client account, the client actually gets someone that has a master's degree, not an intern, not a trainee, someone that actually has the background and doing the job for them. And that's very important.
Very, very important. The best of the best. So tell me, how would they contact you?
They can contact us through our website. It's digitalb2bservices.com and all the social media that they can find us. If they hit Digital B2B Services, they'll find us everywhere.
And of course, through the Hellenic community as
well.
Of
course, that's that's our base. Yeah.
Well, Christos, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you so much for hosting us, Tina. Thank you very much.
Not at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we are finishing the day with food. You'll be glad to know. So we're going to run a video now.
Hello, we are in Gyros, Greek Souvlaki Bar, my favorite place in Dublin, guys. In Gyros, you'll find the ultimate Greek souvlaki from pork, chicken, Greek-style kebab, which is a mixture of beef and lamb, traditional sausage, pita-wrapped souvlakis and tasters. One bite is enough to make you feel like you are in Greece. To our vegetarian and vegan friends, we offer yummy pita wraps with grilled veggies and tzatziki and falafel. Try our variety of starters, salads, and handmade spreads and dips. Try our zucchini feta fritters and tomato fritters. Fried feta cheese with honey and sesame. And don't forget the grilled Cypriot halloumi. Spoil your friends and family by offering them authentic Greek yummy tastes. Finish up with our Greek-style fried donuts, loukoumades. Exceptional taste, either plain or filled with chocolate Nutella on top and crushed nuts. You will remember this one. Our Gyros Bar is open daily for takeaway and delivery, for lunch and dinner options. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram pages. Our Souvlaki Bar, our Gyros Souvlaki Bar, is located at Prospect Road, just between Glasneville and Fitzborough, just right after Crosscans Bridge. Don't forget to visit our place. You won't regret it. Can't wait to serve you some amazing Greek authentic food. See you soon.
Hello, George.
Hi, Dina, how are you?
Very well. You sold me on the Nutella donuts. You had me. We all looked at each other. What? It looks fantastic. We'll certainly have to make a little visit round there for some of those. Tell me, how long have you been open?
Since September of 2018, so it's almost 3 years now.
Oh, and business doing well?
Yeah, can't complain.
You have a lot of people interested in Greek food, do you? It's quite cosmopolitan round where you are. It's situated.
Yeah, actually, I would say that Greece is already, really very famous for the food. So, people are, interested in trying Greek food, and yeah, that's.
Yeah, where in Greece did you come from, George?
Originally, I'm from Patras. It's the third biggest city north of Peloponnese.
Oh, and yeah. Did you have a food business over there before you came here?
No, to be honest with you, I came to Ireland like the most of the new generation of Greek people came to Ireland. It's to work for, all these big companies that they are based in Dublin. So I didn't have any experience, to be honest with you. I didn't have a food business in Greece. Just I took advantage of the circumstances and I decided to open Gyros here.
That was a big leap from working in an office environment or whatever to opening a food company.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, actually, I didn't have a big experience, but we learn actually from our mistakes slowly. And we did, we tried to offer our best.
Yes. And did you get much government help to start up?
To be honest with you, no. At the beginning, when we tried to get, when I tried to call, I contact Leo, but I'm talking about local enterprises. Office. So actually, they found my business plan too risky.
Oh.
So they decided not to offer us anything. So that was actually they helped. But they're right. It was too risky. I wasn't coming from the food industry. I didn't have any experience. So yeah. It was sound too risky to them, so they decided not to give us any support. But anyway, we tried, difficult at the beginning, and slowly, we did what we have achieved at the moment.
Well, that's very brave. So do you have the one food outlet, and are you going to expand? Have you any thoughts on expanding?
Yeah, actually, unofficially, we're expanding. We are going to announce that in the next couple of weeks. We have got a second premises, so in Dublin. So we're going to expand in a few months. And yeah, also I have the Philo Cafe. We have the Philo Cafe, which is another business, which runs exactly next.
Where is that based?
That's exactly next door.
Oh.
Next door to Gyros.
So you have takeaway and you have the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
We used to have a small sitting area in Gyros. Now, unfortunately, because of COVID, it was closed. We took advantage of that and we extend the kitchen a bit. So now, unfortunately, we don't have a sitting area. That's why we decided to open a second outlet where we will have a sitting area. In Philo Cafe, we have a sitting area.
Yes. And will it be the same food?
It's going to be the second outlet. It's going to be Gyros. So it's going to be the second branch of Gyros, actually.
Yes. Oh, very, very good. Well, George, I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Your food looks delicious. I enjoyed
Mm.
your video very much. I could almost taste it. So we look forward to hearing that you have opened your new premises. And as I say, the very, very best of luck.
Thank you very much, Tina. Thank you.
All the
best to you
best,
as well.
George. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Cheers. Bye.
Hello everyone, we are in Philo Cafe. Philo Cafe is a coffee and bakery shop with an extensive variety of Greek flavorness. We offer unique Greek authentic flavors, savory pastries with cheese, with spinach, bacon and chicken, pastries for vegetarian and vegan lovers. Don't forget to try our bougatsa, creamy custard pastry to die for. Philo Cafe offers lovely desserts, spectacular cakes for your birthdays or any occasion, name days, parties, you name it, we have it here. We have orange, walnut and chocolate pies, baklavas and kantaifi, and galactobureko. Hard to pronounce, lovely taste. We have chourekis filled with chocolate, everything for every palate, sweet or savory, you will find it in Philo Cafe. Visit our Philo Cafe to enjoy original Greek coffee like the one I do right here, Freddo Cappuccino, Freddo Espresso, ideal for the hot weather. Our Philo Cafe is located in Crossguns Bridge, just right after Fisborough, between Fisborough and Glasnevin. We can't wait to serve you. Looking forward to see everyone.
Well, we actually went out and we got some of those desserts. It was too good. So we're looking forward to partaking of them after we finish. We are actually finished for the evening now, but we will be back at 7:30 tomorrow evening to continue. All these videos are available on our YouTube channel. I pass you over to Stella.
Well, thank you so much, Tina. You are my heroine. Thank you. You can tell what a huge operation that has been for us. And we couldn't have continued today, given that the internet of here in the Greek school gave up on us. And if we didn't have Fondas and Theodoris, we wouldn't have been able to even just make the best out of it, as we say. So thank you so much, Tina, for your patience, for offering us your professional skills, and we'll see you tomorrow. And thank you for wanting to enjoy those beautiful desserts that we have for you. Καλή όρεξη. Καληνύχτα. Good night. Thank you so much, everybody.